My friends. This is Tisha Castillo, your host of The Sickening Truth, the podcast that digs deep and uncovers the truth behind all of the misinformation about health and nutrition that we have literally been force fed for decades. As always, I'm here to challenge the status quo and break down those health myths that keep us all so confused. So let's dive in with another eye opening episode, shall we? So, today I'm going to talk about something that's been thrown around a lot, especially lately. These are called superfoods. Jump on and do a quick internet search, and it's going to throw up a long list of fruits, veggies, and grains. But today, I'm diving a bit deeper. Let's talk about what really makes a superfood super. So, to me, a superfood, first of all, is real food. It's not something cooked up in a lab. It's not something that's been heavily modified to where it's barely recognizable, nor is it something that used to be one thing and has been changed decade after decade to be something completely different than it was initially. A superfood should provide every nutrient required for life that our bodies can easily absorb and utilize. Really needs to have those three components. It's a food that if it were the only thing available for you to eat, it could sustain you, keep you healthy, and wouldn't lead to any type of nutritional deficiencies or chronic diseases. This is crucial because our bodies have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to eat and digest these types of superfoods, these natural, real foods. So let's take a closer look at these usual superfood suspects. You got fruits, you got veggies, you got grains. Oh my goodness, the number of times you hear that oats and quinoa are superfoods blows my mind. But are they really nutrient dense and beneficial? Can our bodies absorb and utilize the nutrition they claim to have? I mean, we can discuss this on another episode and do a little bit more of a deep dive, but for now, I'm just going to tell you the answer is no. Fruits, veggies, and grains are not the be all end all of nutrition. Newsflash, without other foods to balance them out, relying solely on fruits, veggies, or grains would absolutely lead to nutrient deficiencies. Even if you try to fill the gaps with supplements, it's just not going to cut it. I mean, come on. Can you imagine living off of only oats or only kale or berries? Remember, I explained that a superfood is a food that if it were the only thing available could sustain you, keep you healthy, and not lead to deficiencies or chronic diseases. Oats, kale, berries, grains, even avocados and dark chocolate, they're not going to cut it, no matter how much of it you eat. So, focusing on these superfoods is really not doing you any favors. These foods leave you not only nutrient deficient, but they absolutely lead to metabolic dysfunction, which leads to fatigue, brain fog, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, weight gain, diabetes. The list literally goes on and on. So, if these amazing fruits, veggies, and grains aren't the complete superfoods that we thought they were, what truly deserves that title? Are you ready for it? Okay, brace yourself. Where's the beef? Now, before you think I've lost my mind, hear me out. Beef is usually not considered a superfood, but folks, it checks all the boxes. It's an excellent source of protein. It's packed with 10 essential nutrients. Like we're talking iron, zinc, selenium, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, phosphorus, pantothenate, magnesium, potassium. And here's a shocker. It even provides vitamin C. Yep. So you don't have to worry about scurvy if all you're eating is beef. So let's unpack that a little bit more. When I talk about protein, I don't mean just any protein. I'm talking about complete proteins that contain all of the essential amino acids that our bodies can't produce on their own. Beef is a prime example of this. And it's not just about the amount of protein, but also its digestibility. Animal proteins like beef are highly digestible, meaning that your body can absorb and utilize most of the protein that it's actually ingesting. All right, Tisha, you might say, what about all the negative press that beef gets? Doesn't it cause cancer, raise cholesterol, increase heart attack risks? Well, here's where the lines are getting super blurred and fuzzy. Many studies making these claims, often only examining processed meats, not fresh, unadulterated beef. Remember, our definition of a superfood is a food that hasn't been modified or processed. And fresh beef, well, that fits that bill perfectly. So let's spend some time on the science here. The science of nutrition is complex and ever evolving, but it's so important to understand that correlation does not imply causation. Some studies might show a connection between processed meat consumption and certain diseases, but that definitely does not necessarily mean that the meat caused the disease. There could be so many other factors at play. You always have to look at the wider picture. It's funny when you actually start looking through all the studies and all of the play on what correlation versus causation is. I mean, you can literally find graphs that say eating ice cream leads to more deaths of drowning. Is that really the case? Or does it just happen to be that more people in the summer happen to be swimming who might also be eating ice cream? And coincidentally, there are more drowning deaths in the summertime than in the winter. Does not mean that eating an ice cream cone is going to lead to drowning. Well, that's the same kind of misinformation that's construed and thrown out to all of us and has been for decades about beef and it causing diseases. So I really just have to say this time and time again. Forget about all the latest fads. Stop trying to force yourself to gulp down celery juice or bake kale or fuss with quinoa and try to make it taste like anything other than cardboard. If you want to eat healthy, savor a delicious steak and then give yourself a pat on the back for choosing a real superfood and meal that tastes flipping amazing. So, what's the takeaway from today's deep dive? Real food, balanced nutrition, and a shift in the way we view our traditional superfoods. Remember, a superfood should be nourishing, easy to absorb, and sustainable in the long run without causing deficiency or disease. And like I said before, beef ticks all those boxes. So, with that, winding down another episode of The Sickening Truth. It's been a pleasure as always, and I hope today's topic has given you some food for thought, pun totally intended. So, stay healthy, stay curious, and as always, stay open to the truth. Keep questioning. This is Tisha Castillo signing off. Until next time, have a great one.